In Terraria, there are numerous bosses, but one that stands out is Duke FISHRON. This boss has an interesting summon method, some of the hardest attacks in the game, and some of the best drops in the game. That's why, in today's video, I'll be going over the easiest way to defeat FISHRON, and everything else you might need to know about him. Firstly, let's go over how you can actually spawn Duke FISHRON. You will already want to be in hard mode, otherwise Duke FISHRON's summoning item won't be able to spawn at all. After that, you will need to find an underground mushroom biome, where you will then want to try and find a truffle worm, which is Duke FISHRON's summoning item. This can be hard since they are a rare spawn, and they can disappear as you go up to catch them with a net, so I recommend using an invisibility potion so they won't despawn as you go up to them. Or make a farm by clearing out a chunk of the mushroom biome that you can fully see and get around easy in. Once you have your truffle worm, you will need to head to either of your world's oceans, where you can then start fishing with the truffle worm as bait, which will summon Duke FISHRON. Next, let's take a look at the gear you should be using. For this fight, I recommend using a ranged build, mixed with summoning items, starting with the weapons, with the first one being the Mega Shark, with chlorophyte bullets, and the second one being the Deadly Sphere Staff. Moving on to the armor, I recommend using the Hallowed set, with the Hallowed Helmet for the headpiece. Next up, we have the accessories, with the first one being the Philosopher's Stone, Charm of Myths, Papyrus Scarab, Frozen Shield, and finally the Brain of Confusion. For your mount, you will want to use the Winged Slime mount, as it can get around pretty quickly, and more importantly, fall super fast. And finally, for your potions, you will want to have some summoning, swiftness, regeneration, and super healing potions. The next section will be a small one, but can end up helping out a lot, which is preparing your ocean for the fight. To start, I recommend making a line of blockings going on top of the ocean, so that way you won't fall into the water while fighting. But make sure to leave a decently sized open hole at either end of the ocean so you can still summon FISHRON. Next, you will want to place a heart lantern, a campfire, and place some statues on the blocks covering the ocean, with them all being hooked up to 1/4 second timer. Next, you will want to go to the ends of your platforms and start building a line of blocks upward until you see your heart lantern and campfire buffs disappear, where you will then want to make a small platform and place another campfire and heart lantern. The small campfire builds you placed up in the air should be just under your height limit with the Winged Slime mount, allowing you to quickly land after you can't fly anymore. You can also build platforms going across the ocean but in the air, which will allow you to keep up with FISHRON easier. And finally, let's go over the actual fight. Before summoning Duke FISHRON, go ahead and use your potions and summon all 3 of your deadly spheres, get on your Winged Slime mount, and then you are ready to summon him. During the fight, Duke FISHRON will have 4 different attacks, with the first one being his dash towards you, his bubble attack, his tornado, and finally his flying sharks. Although there are 4 different attacks, you deal with them all the same, by using the slime mount to either drop down or fly upwards really fast to dodge something, and will let you bounce off the shark's bubbles, tornadoes, and Duke FISHRON himself, which becomes extremely helpful once he reaches his 3rd phase, where it's very easy to get cornered and be swarmed by bubbles or sharks. Besides dodging his attacks 24/7, with the ranged weapon setup I went over, when you shoot the Mega Shark, the bullets will automatically start heading towards the nearest enemy once shot, regardless of where you aim, which ends up being extremely important in this fight. Besides the mount and the ranged weapon, the final thing you will need to do is keep an eye on your health and health potion cooldown to make sure you don't overuse your potions, while at the same time making sure you don't get killed yourself. Overall, the fight will mainly come down to your muscle memory after you've tried it a few times, as all of the attacks happen so fast after each other, it's hard to keep track and plan for what's next. That wraps up my guide to defeating Duke FISHRON. If you made it this far into the video, let me know by commenting "fish out of water," and also let me know if you want me to make videos covering any of the other bosses. Thanks for sticking to the end, and as always, make sure to have a wonderful day.